You are about to listen to another episode of That Sports Guys podcast, hosted by Craig Forrestall. Find Craig on Twitter at that_sports_guy. The That Sports Guys podcast is proudly featured by NFL Draft Diamonds, your draft coverage king. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some football talk.
Hello and welcome to another episode of That Sports Guys podcast. I am Craig Forrestall. You might know me from Twitter as at that_sports_guy. But today I have with me former Houston Baptist linebacker Caleb Johnson. Caleb, what's going on with you?
Going good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for taking the time to, sit down with us for a few minutes. I know we were talking about how you just finished up a workout, getting ready for the upcoming NFL draft. I'm sure we'll touch upon that in a couple of minutes. But first things first, you're from San Diego. Caleb, what's it like growing up in San Diego?
I'll tell you what, San Diego, it's a beautiful place, but it is a place that'll spoil you just because, you have pretty moderate weather all year round. You don't have like the Houston heat that I got acclimated to out here. You don't have the humidity and stuff. So, San Diego is really nice. The lifestyle is really, really relaxed, laid back, but, you have some great people out there as well. So it was really nice.
And now, can you talk about all the different sports you played growing up? Was football always your best sport, or did you excel at multiple sports?
Yeah, so football was always number one. First and foremost, it was always about football. It's just something about, I don't know, I think it was the aggression of the game that I fell in love with. But, my parents always wanted me, always harped on being well-rounded. So I was always in basketball. But my second favorite sport, I would say, is surprisingly soccer. I love watching and playing soccer. It's I just love like the creativity and like the footwork that goes into it. And I just admire their stamina as well, because all that running it's not for everybody. So soccer was one of my other sports.
And now, sticking in high school at Point Loma, you were listed as a quarterback, wide receiver, and safety. Talk about how that versatility has helped you grow into a dominant linebacker, Caleb.
Yeah, so playing quarterback. So I played quarterback actually most of my life. I've always been quarterback, kind of running back, offensive side of the ball. And playing linebacker at Houston Baptist, it's really just, it helped me to build my instincts because now I find myself just instinctually being in the right places, instinctually knowing what the offense is going to do, just based on my experiences on the other side of the ball, as well as, in the back end playing safety. And that's also helped develop my hip work and footwork and coverage ability as well. So I think that's only made me a better player. And I think it's ultimately built me up to be a great linebacker. So I think linebacker is the position I was born to play.
What was the recruiting process like for you in high school?
It was very slow, actually. So I was very under recruited out of high school. I only had a couple offers after my junior season at the Naval Academy, and then a lot of the service academies were communicating with me as well as Big Sky schools. But other than that, no one really pulled the trigger on me. And I kind of took that and it kind of manifested itself as a chip on my shoulder. So I think that's something that's really pushed me throughout my entire career at Houston Baptist. And but besides that, I didn't get an offer to Houston Baptist until July 28th on my birthday, actually, in 2016. Then 3 days later, I popped right back up. I popped up on Houston Baptist campus, then got ready for fall camp.
And now Houston Baptist is a relatively new program playing its first season in 2013. Caleb, can you talk about the growth of the program since you've arrived and what it means to be a key piece of the foundation of the program?
Man, I'll tell you what, it's been a really long and interesting ride here because, whenever I first got here, it was only like their third season officially playing as a member of the FCS. So it was a lot of hurdles that we had to overcome as a program in terms of like what we were able to do, how we were able to do it, and as well as just personnel difficulties. So, being a part of that foundation, I can't even take credit for it all myself because we had great linebackers before me, like Cody Monk here, and of course Garrett Dolan, which some people may recognize the name, but I really had great leadership in front of me, and it only helped me to expound on that with the young guys coming up because we have even more bodies coming up with Brennan Young and Danny Leonard and all those young guys. So it's really been a blessing to be part of like the foundation, part of that building process. And I really appreciated the opportunity that I was given by Coach Shealy.
Caleb, you were a multi-year starter for Houston Baptist, posting back-to-back 100-plus tackle seasons in 2018 and 2019. Then in your 4 games this season, you averaged more than 12 tackles per game. What type of football player are you? Can you give us a self-scouting report?
Yeah, so in terms of myself and how I play, I'm definitely an aggressive player. I definitely am all attack, foot on the gas. I'll shoot gaps, and like I said, I'm very instinctual. I rely on my instincts, and it's just everything just comes naturally to me. And then, but in terms of that, I'm really good in coverage, and I think I'm better in coverage than I've been able to show at Houston Baptist just because of where I was being played most of the time on the inside. But rather than that, very versatile player, very open-minded, very team-oriented. So I think whenever I'm on the field, I'm really just aggressive, and I'm a run stopper, but I can drop back in coverage.
Caleb, as a Houston Baptist product, you get the small school label, but you got the chance to play 3 FBS teams this fall: North Texas, Texas Tech, and Louisiana Tech. As a small school player, what did it mean for you to get the chance to put film out there against those bigger schools?
Oh man, that was everything, because it just gave me an opportunity to show like that it's no different. It's like I'm gonna play the exact same way. I'm gonna be consistent in my playing style, no matter who I'm playing against, and that's something that's going to carry on to my professional career as well. Because even I played at Houston Baptist University, I played against the best players in the nation as well. I mean, everyone I'm playing against is a Division I player as well, and I'm just hope to come out on top.
You've been invited to the College Gridiron Showcase. What is your mindset as the event approaches, and what are you hoping to showcase for NFL scouts and evaluators that will be in attendance?
I'm hoping to definitely showcase that I'm a professional and that I can move way better than the average player. That my footwork and hip ability and movement is excellent and above the standards, as well as how I approach the game, the attitude at which I come with it. So my mindset is really on being attentive to detail, as well as very purposeful in every step I take.
Caleb, let's talk about goals. What are your short-term and long-term football goals?
Short term, drafted. That's very immediate. Just perform well in my pro day and get drafted, and find a home, find a place where I can succeed. And then long term is just to consistently do my job, because once you get to professional level, that's what it is. It's a job, and that's what I hope to do. I hope to just do my job.
And now you're also a very accomplished writer. Can you talk about that and where the interest in writing comes from, Caleb?
Yeah, so a lot of that I take away from like my leadership abilities. I think that's something I've really built on in my writing, because writing has helped me to see the world in a different way than I would typically be able to see it. So in order for me to create characters, for example, I have to dive into like the people around me and how they react to things, and like how they react to certain situations. And that therefore relates to football in the same sense that the people around me are my teammates, and I understand how they will react to different types of criticism, and how I can best lead them in what they do. So that's really, in my writing, I've really just taken a lot of like, my personal experiences in life and like how I relate to people, and then taking that and putting that in that kind of medium.
And now, Caleb, we spent a good amount of time getting to know you as a player on the field. But if you'll go with me, I have a few questions away from the game to get to know you as a person. You ready for those?
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Absolutely. So, Caleb, first one. You found a time machine, and you can either travel to 2,500 years ago and be king of a large country, or fast forward 1,500 years and live on a different planet.
That's very difficult. That's a very difficult question, because honestly, I've never considered going back in the future. I mean, in the past or in the future, just because I love the present as it is. But the only reason I would say I would rather go to the future is because in the past they didn't have as well hygiene practices. So I think that's something that would definitely hinder my ability to be effective. So I think I choose the future.
What's the best restaurant near the campus of Houston Baptist?
It's a toss up. It just depends on what mood you're in. But I would go with either Sawgrass or Lotus Seafood.
And now, what do I need to get at either one of those places?
At Sawgrass, I run with the surf and turf. Just with the onion tanglers. You gotta have that variety of little flavors and textures. But at Lotus Seafood, I always get. You can really get anything on that menu as long as you get the crack sauce with it. The crack sauce makes the meal.
I'll take your word for it. Sounds like
Yeah.
that's the signature sauce.
Yeah.
Caleb, what's your dream car?
You know what? I think it would be just an old school Mustang.
What's a song that you like but nobody knows it?
There's so many. There's so many I could go through, but I think the one that comes to my head is it's called "Real Love" by Yellow Days.
What's your favorite way to relax after a tough or stressful day?
Oh, reading. That's easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is former Houston Baptist linebacker Caleb Johnson. Pay attention to him as he takes his talents to Texas this week at the College Gridiron Showcase, hoping to showcase a little bit more of what he can do overall as a linebacker. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that is Caleb Johnson. I am Craig Forrestall. Until next time, stay safe and be easy.
Hey everybody, Craig Forrestall. Thanks for tuning in and listening to another episode of That Sports Guys podcast. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at @that_sports_guy to catch all the latest updates and podcast episodes. Until next time, stay safe and be easy.